My name's Wry, and this is Wicked. We are not academics. We are very much practicing polyamorous, open. We're a couple that's been together for about 3 years, and we've been hosting discussion groups on the broader dynamic of non-monogamy in LA for the last 3 years. We've done about a dozen events, and that's part of the reason we're participating here this weekend. And what we're talking about today is the stress and stigma that comes from identity. And in that identity, we're focusing specifically on polyamory, but also on how that interacts with, say, the LGBT community and also with the BDSM community, and kind of an overarching alternate relationship paradigm, and how being in that closet creates a constant level of stress, whether it be just having it, using your real name. We're not using our real names. My real name is Ryan Rantione, but it's not a name that I use on a constant basis. It's Rye, as the name tag specifies. And Wicked is a little more in the closet than I am.
Just a little bit, but it's starting to turn the other way.
Yeah, especially as we are making more appearances together. I'm kind of slowly pulling her out of the closet. But I think she'd do it on her own anyway.
I really would.
Yeah.
I would do it in a heartbeat, you know.
Part of it is your work life, and work goes beyond the office itself. An office party, a Christmas party, a work-related business dinner. It may be a little unusual if you show up with 2 partners instead of 1. The plus 1 is practically expected and sometimes rewarded. There are statistical studies where married people tend to advance faster, especially affecting being viewed as stable. Whereas polyamory, multiple partners is inherently viewed as unstable or instable.
Well, whether you're showing up at this office party with 2 partners, or you're showing up at this office party with a different partner than the last one that they saw, and then they want to know, like, oh, did you break up with so-and-so? No, we're still together. Oh, how does that work?
I get that.
That's actually just happened with me.
Tell the story. Go ahead.
So the reason why Rye said that I was sort of being pulled out of the closet is because of my job. I work with children, and when you work with children, there is an expectation that you are going to be this squeaky clean, nuclear, family-oriented type of person. And when you are not, then it doesn't matter how wonderful you are with the children, your personal life becomes an issue. So that's the reason why I said that I would come out of the closet in a heartbeat if it weren't for my job. Now, I am starting to come out of the closet at my job, because it's just starting to get to a point where I just kind of don't care. And it's just like, you know what? I've been here for almost 6 years. You know me. This that I'm starting to reveal to you shouldn't make me any kind of a different person. So anyway, the story being is that I was going to our Christmas party, and I told the guy in charge of everybody who's being there, it's going to be me and a date. And he says, oh, Rye's coming? And I said, no, a different person. He's like, oh, did you break up with Rye? And I said, no, we're still together. I have 2 boyfriends. And it took him, he thought about it for a second, and he was just like, okay, all right. He had to kind of do like a double take. I'm sure that he had 1.5 million questions. But I think that he did very well in saying, oh, okay, that's what you're doing. You plus 1, moving on. It doesn't always happen like that. I think that I'm actually pretty lucky to work with children in a very open and accepting environment. I'm a preschool teacher in West Hollywood. So there's a lot of alternative, families that come to the school. There's a lot of, gay male parents, lesbian female parents, and, across the spectrum. So I think that I am actually a little bit more lucky than a lot of others.
You've yet to show up with 2 dates to a function.
I have yet to show up with 2 dates, yes. We'll see how that goes over.
What you just described, that hesitation and that questioning, is oftentimes referenced as a microaggression. And this is standard experience. It's a common experience among minority groups of all kinds, no matter what the slice of life that it may be. If you are the minority of the group, if you're the not normal of the group, there's going to be hesitations and questions of people literally not understanding and being a little less sensitive to your situation because they don't understand it. And as time goes on, those eat at you just little by little. There's a collaborator and friend of mine named Ryan Witherspoon, who is doing his doctoral research on this topic. He's spoken at previous events here at Berkeley, and he's gone into great researching detail on this topic of how stress is created by these constant microaggressions. What we typically pay attention to are the macro and the extreme side of the aggression, which is really more directed, like, your lifestyle is wrong. That would be a straight up aggression.
The bashing. The
slut shaming. The direct negativity, as opposed to merely a little hesitation and questioning, which makes you be a little less forthright than you might be.
Yeah, because I have issues. I have a lot of, what we call vanilla friends who are monogamous, and I've tried to talk to them sometimes about the poly relationship and like little issues that I'm having, and they just don't understand. And they try really hard, and I think basically what they tend to do is, if there's a breakup or if there's trouble dating, I will usually get, oh, but that's okay, you've got Wry. And I was like, okay, I know you're trying to make me feel better by giving me that silver lining, but that's really not the issue. The issue is not with Wry. The issue is with, these other people. So why don't we, focus on the other people? And, like I said, they do try, but that is part of the frustration of that micro, you said microaggression, is that they really just don't understand, and they're not a good, they're not a good person to bounce their ideas off of and sort of vent to.
They have a lack of experience, which means it's harder to relate.
Right.
And we have to sometimes remind others that don't relate that they can still have empathy for the feeling we're feeling. It's not like it's a rare experience in their own lives. It's just they can't relate to the situation. You can say, hey, you've gone through a breakup, haven't you? Well, yeah. Well, that's all that matters. Stop the conversation there. You don't have to imagine what it's like to go through a breakup with a boyfriend or without a boyfriend in addition to the breakup that's going on. You can still empathize with the emotion because you felt it in some way or another. If you've never been in a relationship in your life, if you've never broken up, if you've been in the same relationship from the moment you started until death do you part, you can still empathize with the sadness and the loss and the grief that you're going through. And that's part of educating the public and eliminating this stigma. And as the stigma gets eliminated, our stresses will become less severe. Right now, there's no great benefit to being labeled or identifying as polyamorous except for within the community. Everywhere else, it's basically a disadvantage. There is a little element of cool factor going on, a little bit, but I don't support that cool factor at all. I am not polyer than thou, and I don't think that there's anything great about being polyamorous, no more than being any other minority group.
Yeah.
It's not inherently awesome.
There is a backlash, from the poly community. I've seen a lot of, discussion threads online where the people who are very, very poly are saying, I don't understand why people think that monogamy is the way to go. It's ridiculous. It's, they're being duped into doing this thing that shouldn't be happening. And, my opinion of that is, okay, you know what? Calm down a minute, because it's my feeling and my belief that, you should be allowed to run your life the way you want to run it. And also, I believe that you should go ahead and let monogamous people be monogamous if that's what they want to do. But I think that the reason that backlash is happening, it's really it's happened over a lot of different groups. You know, there's the what do you call it? The thin shaming.
Oh, yeah, fit shaming or
Yeah,
thin
there's
shaming.
a fit shaming that happened because
Skinnies.
of because of like the movement of, oh, you know, you shouldn't be over this amount of weight. Then there's the people on the other side who are going, wait a minute, we are valid too. And there's also, like the Black Power and that movement, the gay pride, like all of these movements are basically just a way of saying, hey, we are here and we are a certain group that matters too, and this is why we are awesome as well. Some people go a little too far, in my opinion.
I think you can draw a correlation to a version of atheism where you're espousing your own beliefs opposed to an aggressive version where you're trying to actively destroy the beliefs of others. What we advocate is awareness of all the options. I think monogamy is cool. I really do. I think it's great. I think it's just as great as being straight or being gay or being any other label or minority you want to do. I think that you can do it successfully. I don't think there's inherently anything flawed about it.